The Jason Smith Show.
Check this out.
Pay attention. With Mike Harmon.
This is another case of people going back and looking at the back of a guy's football card and saying, we're going to get a great player. Tyreek Hill is 32. He's coming off of diminishing last couple of years and a big dual leg injury that he's got to come back from to get ready to go. And for a guy where his speed is his number one asset, are we really sure he's still fantastic? That's how, because it kind of feels like he's Odell at the end where, oh man, we can get Odell and Odell's, yeah, you're not going to get the Odell the first couple of years with the Giants, right? That's not going to happen. That's gone, right? Tyreek Hill is 32, and again, his speed is his thing, and you're talking about a really huge, multiple injured leg that he's still got to come back from.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon. Weeknights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio.
Give it up.
When you're a couple, you're a team.
I give you.
It's Rob Parker.
Let's just deal with the facts.
Not the feeling.
It's Kelvin Washington.
Man, let's ride.
Put your hands together.
And they're the odd couple, teaming up and making plays.
Dude, you can be the guy.
Most nights. I'm the poo-poo king.
Oh, boy.
I want to hear what they have to say.
I'm not gonna lie, the cheeks were clenched.
Listen to The Odd Couple every weekday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports Radio. FS1.
Call your friends and ask how they doing.
To find FS1 on your television, go to foxsports.com for details.
Boom. Trust your eyes.
FS1.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
And here's what you need to know.
In women's hockey at the Olympic Games, the United States trailed 1-0 for about half of their regulation skate with Canada. It was then with 2 minutes left in the third period. The U.S. tied it with a goal by Hillary Knight. So the squads went to overtime.
Canada gets fresh skaters on the ice. The outlet pass for Keller, a defenseman. Nice move, cuts to the net, score! Megan Keller, the overtime hero. The United States wins gold and belong.
And they top Canada 2-1. Kenny Albert on NBC Universal and USA Network with the call. In figure skating, American Alyssa Liu took home the gold, the 20-year-old, the winner today of the women's figure skating event, while in men's speed skating, Jordan Stolz took home silver in the 1,500 meters. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver told the league's GMs anti-tanking rules will be in place next year.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. How are you? The Nate Brown Show is ready. Thursday edition. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Welcome in, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We've got some great stuff tonight. Rob Keighron's back in the house. So a Thursday happy hour coming up. Our second hour with our national radio host, guest host, Rob Keighron. He's coming in full hour next hour. A lot to discuss in the first hour across the board, from high school to college to the pros. Let's get after it. Hey, a reminder, it's always a great day in South Dakota. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio in a few different places. Catch us on X right now. Follow us. Watch us live at Nate Brown Show. Join us there on X at Nate Brown Show. That's perfect. And then you've got us on YouTube, The Nate Brown Show. If you're a YouTube person, that's easy. Subscribe to the channel for the live show every day. And then the archive shows are there as well. The Nate Brown Show. Search for it on YouTube. Finally, Midwest Sports Plus. We are live on the high school sports streaming app. Midwest Sports Plus just launched this year, and they've covered high school games from football to basketball. Midwest Sports Plus, the Nate Brown Show live, welcoming you in there. Thursday edition, I said second hour, it's filled with Rob Keighron and a lot to discuss across the board with him. Huge topics this week. We're going to go to high school news with Trent Singer tonight. He covers high school sports and Augie hockey. It's a double hitter of the Sioux Falls Live guys. How did we work this out? Trent Singer on the high school sports tonight. He'll join us coming up next. Then we're going Matt Zimmer on college sports, and there's a lot to discuss there. We haven't had Zim on for a while. Sioux Falls Live college sports reporter Matt Zimmer tonight. And finally, one of the all-timers, Brian Haenchen. Do you remember this guy? Yes, you do. Brian Haenchen, former Argus leader, sports writer. He's now at the Indianapolis Star. He covers high school sports in Indiana. And a big topic I want to hit on him. Where is the popularity of girls' high school basketball? You've heard a lot about it. Numbers declining in South Dakota, in Iowa, in Nebraska. Where is it at in the big state of Indiana? Huge basketball state. Brian Haenchen covers high school basketball there. We'll talk to him from the IndyStar. So a busy Thursday show. Looks good. Some great guests. Let's get you on if you want in. 605-720-1067. That's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. 605-720-1067. Powered by the Pizza Ranch. Stop by. Great place to eat. Favorite buffet in town. The Pizza Ranch in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Home of everyone's favorite buffet. Locally owned and operated. Stop by the Pizza Ranch this week. Remember, the Barron's Wilson text line is ready. We're getting some texts already today. Getting some listener texts. I open up the app. It comes right in here. Text us on the text line, 605-720-1067. That's the number. That's how you can win a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch for answering our question of the day. What are we getting texts on, do you think? What do you think? A big topic today. What is it? The USA just winning gold in women's hockey. The USA, Team USA over Canada. And I'm going to start with that, by the way. Just a quick hitter. I'm going to get to this high school sports segment I want to do to start tonight. But I do want to ask you a question of the day. It's an easy one. Easy one. I just want your take. Do you regularly watch the Olympics? We're wrapping up this weekend, okay? It's been on for 2 weeks. Do you regularly watch the Winter Olympics? You're listening to the sports show. You are a sports fan. So I want to know, do you regularly watch? I'm talking like every day when you're getting home from work. Hey, you got the prime time in Milan. You got it up. You got to watch whatever's coming up. Skiing, skating, speed skating, aerials, whatever it is. Do you regularly watch the Winter Olympics? Just an easy question of the day as we get it fired up. The pulse of the Nate Brown Show tonight, 605-720-1067. Listener text, you bet it is a golden day for the USA. So he's in on it. He's totally in on it. 605-720-1067. Do you at least watch the Olympics regularly? Do you? Every day? What's my answer? I have been watching it every day, not just because I'm a sports host, and people have asked me, hey, you got to watch the Olympics. You got to know what's going on. Well, I mean, you do, but Olympics don't make sports talk radio that much. You get the team stuff. You get the gold win, like the Team USA on the women's side today, and then we'll look at the men's side coming up. But that type of stuff makes sports talk radio. But I'm still in on the Winter Olympics. I have watched it. I think if I go back the last 2 weeks, I think I've watched it like every day. I think I have watched bits and pieces, some live stuff in the weekend, in the morning, and then I'm watching the primetime stuff. It's hard because they're so far ahead of us. You already see what happens. Gold in this sport, gold in that sport, but I have still watched it every single day. You tell me. I'm curious about that, okay? By the way, what's the poll say? I put that up. Do you at least watch the Olympics every day? Just parts. You don't have to watch all, primetime coverage, all 2 hours, 3 hours. Do you watch it every day? 71% tonight checking in on Twitter. Yes, I'm watching regularly. 29%. No, I don't watch that much. I don't watch that much. Listener text. I've been watching Olympic hockey and love it. Love having the pros in it. Wild have 9 guys in the Olympics. Okay, I like that. Listener text, I'm more inclined to watch if I understand the event, like hockey. Well, here's the thing. I love downhill skiing. I mean, I like The aerials, I like ski jumping. I like speed skating. Figure skating's a little iffy. I mean, my wife watches figure skating. Okay, you can play that one out. That's a little dicey for me. A little dicey for me. I don't love the figure skating. That's like one of the ones I don't watch. A lot of the stuff that's on, I just take it every 4 years and I watch it. So you tell me on the text line if you want a shot at the Pizza Ranch Buffet. Do you watch the Winter Olympics? We haven't asked a question about that over the last 2 weeks. Okay, let's dig into what happened here in South Dakota high school football today. Many of you might be like, what? South Dakota high school football? Yes, South Dakota high school football. There was a special board meeting today. So this is the board of directors, and they had to take care of some stuff that they didn't get handled at the last meeting and some last-minute requests and stuff like that. So I'm not going to bore you tonight with what they handled per se, but I am going to bring out a headline that I look at where South Dakota high school football classification is at. And I know it's been talked about, and you guys say it, too many classes, and everybody yells it. We 7 classes of football and the All Nations. There's too many classes. I understand. You are correct. You are correct. But until you just put it on paper, until you start figuring out what has happened here in South Dakota high school football, you don't really think, how can we get this fixed? How can we get this changed? So I just took a headline out of today's special board meeting. What happened was, one of the headlines was, 2 teams wanted to move down out of 11A football. So when you think about football classes, you guys are AAA, AA, A, and B. And then you got the 9-man, okay? So 2 teams wanted to move out of 11A football. One team is going to go all the way down to 9-man. They're going to go all the way down to 9-man, if you can believe that. Because of numbers, they think, hey, we're struggling here. We got to make sure we can get back on track. So they're going to go from 11A. We're talking about an average daily membership enrollment over 100. Over 100. And they're going to go down to 9-man. That's Sisseton. Then you've got Dakota Tech, who was a Class A school. They said, we've struggled. We can't win. We want to join the All Nations. Have some success, build up the program. Coach Swiftwater down there, I know he's done a nice job. Dakota Tech says, we want to go to All Nations. So how this turns out today in the special board meeting at the Activities Association is Class 11A football now has 12 teams. And so I just started putting the numbers together here. Matt Kearney reporting on this today of the special board meeting. It's like, think about these high school football classes in South Dakota. Think about these with me. AAA has 9 teams. We know that that's the Metro dominates, and that's the end of that story. Sioux Falls Metro, somebody's going to win the title. You can count on it. I mean, it's just which Metro team's going to be the best. That's it. I mean, so it's like there's no intrigue there. So AAA, 9 teams. AA now has just 11 teams. Class 11 AA has 11 teams. So again, you start thinking about how many classes we have, and then it takes the number down in each division, and you would call that watering down the competition, I believe. And I thought about that, and I go, how many teams are in 11A now? 2 teams left today. One went down to 9-man, one went to the All Nations. This is Class 11A. You should have a lot of teams, right? I mean, these are medium-sized schools, medium-sized communities. They should at least have quite a few teams in Class 11A. We only got 12 teams in it. They decided that. They said, well, we're not going to change things too much here with the bylaws, but there's 12 teams that are eligible for the Class 11A playoffs. And now in 11B, there's just 20 teams left. So at least there's 20 in 11B, if you're following me on this. What is my point on this? The classification model in South Dakota is not working. There are too many classes. There are not enough teams in each class. Some teams get to move down now. It's just like we let some teams go. Well, you're not eligible for the playoffs. Okay, whatever, but they get to go all the way from 11A down to 9-man football? And we let that. That's just fine. And so some teams get to go down, but other teams, they don't have to move up then, which is what should be happening. Some of the teams there that should be moving up from 11B to 11A because teams moved down, the board said, we don't want to do that. We're just going to keep teams the way they are. We're going to let teams go down. We're not going to make teams go up. That's just the way that is. And so my point is, the enrollment-only system is flawed. They are not able to determine who's competitive based on enrollment in the state of South Dakota. And we broke up all these classes. Think about that. We got 12 teams for a state 11A title. I mean, it's just 12 teams across. There's only 2 teams West River. There's 2 teams in a whole class West River. Just 2. That's it. And so I'm sitting here going, we've had these discussions. We've had they've created the Success Factor Committee to look at how can we improve competitiveness, schedules, regional games, have better classes, have teams more competitive with their like opponents. Success Factor with enrollment. Because we got to do something different. It's just enrollment's, here's the cutoff. Here's where it is. Well, we want to move down. Okay. Well, you should move teams up. Nah, we don't really want to do that. And they wouldn't let Douglas move down, by the way. Douglas could have been an 11A team. You know, you've heard me talk about the Douglas Patriots. They haven't won any games. They've really struggling. They asked to move down to 11A, and they didn't get approved. They need teams in 11A. And they still didn't get approved. So my deal on this is, will we get any change when it comes to South Dakota high school football with this Success Factor model, looking at teams' winning percentage or lack thereof, their postseason success or lack thereof, mixing it with enrollment, and finding the right classes for teams to compete in? Right now, we're just taking a shot. We're just taking a shot, and we're saying, here's the enrollment for the big schools, Sioux Falls Metro, Rapid City. Okay, good luck. 11AA, we'll let Watertown and Aberdeen in there. They were in the big school class. They're really bigger than everyone else, but we're going to let them in 11AA just because. Aberdeen and Watertown get to be in 11AA just because. Sorry, Douglas, they're way bigger than you, but sorry. So then we just take a shot, and then we go 11A. Let's just keep it at 12 teams. We've got to have a data-driven thing. I do not believe enrollment is the only data we can use, because we're just taking let's cut the line here. Let's see. Let's cut the line for this class here, and it all should work out. And it's not. I'm just being honest. It's not working for programs. There's programs that are lose. And there's programs that are dominate. So top-heavy, so bottom struggling, and we just still are just doing the enrollment thing. And we have so many classes. It's one of those things that I wonder, will we get a Success Factor? They have a committee working on it. Will we get any changes to South Dakota high school football? As a matter of fact, let me ask you that question of the day. I just want to, let's have a positive viewpoint of the question of the day. So all these classes, and now we got 11 teams in AA, 12 teams in 11A. There's a ton of teams that went down to 9-man, so you only got 20 teams left in 11B. There's a lot of teams that went down to 9-man. So we're talking about 11-man football. There's hardly any teams in each class. We have so many. So there's there's just low numbers in each class. Will we ever see changes to South Dakota high school football classification model? This is my recommendation. Success Factor Committee is a great start, but they're going to be working. So we got 2 years of this cycle. Stay with me. Will you be with the Nate Brown Show in 2 years? Will we see a change to the South Dakota high school football classification model? Maybe it's different classes. Maybe it's a success factor. Will we see any changes to how we're doing it now? Or is it just going to stay 7 classes, all nations, that's it? Will this be the exact same 2 years from now? That's my question of the day. Do you say yes, we'll just keep it the same and I'll be coming back here? I'll be a really old man yelling at the clouds then. I mean, 2 years? 2 years. Will it be the same in South Dakota high school football classification, or will we have some change? Success factor committee, some different data system, and changing how we classify football teams. What's your guess? Question of the day, 605-720-1067 on the text line. That's what I'd like to know. Listener text. On the classification, I agree with you, Nate. Gotta change stuff. Let's see. Listener text, if it's politics-driven instead of data-driven, you're never going to see it. Too many egos. Too many egos if it's politics-driven instead of data-driven. Very interesting. Deep thoughts on the text line. Listener text, seems like the Activities Association needs a state oversight committee. Maybe look at some different decisions. Huh? Okay, look out. You tell me. My question is, will we see any change to South Dakota high school football classification? 2 years, we got to work on this. And I'm just curious if you think we're actually going to change it or we're just going to stick with what we have. Enrollment, cutoff lines, we're going to kind of guess, yeah, you can go down, you can go up, and just kind of approve it as we go. Cutoff lines, and it's just enrollment, that's it. Will we stay this way 2 years from now? 2 years is a long time. You tell me. Trent Singer's going to get us started tonight. Covers high school sports for Sioux Falls Live on the way.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
All kinds of vehicles, all kinds of loans. All as low as 4.99% APR. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're here to help all kinds of people, just like you. Get moving. From truck drivers to van warriors, we got the right loan to fit your style with rates as low as 4.99% APR. Wherever the road takes you, start with BHFCU. Apply today at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818.
Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
Save big money on your next project right now at Menards. Turn on the tap and turn up the quality with Pentair water filters. They're built tough, engineered for performance, and designed to eliminate unwanted impurities and contaminants in your water to give you peace of mind and enjoy crisper, cleaner, and safer water. Check out all our Pentair products in store. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
You never know what kind of weather Mother Nature has planned. Be ready in a 4x4 or all-wheel drive from Denny Mental Toyota. Shop a great selection of used trucks and sport utilities and the area's best selection of used Toyotas and Toyota certified pre-owned. Get financing as low as 4.99% APR for up to 72 months on certified pre-owned, including RAV4s. See us at Denny Mental Toyota or DennyMentalToyota.com. 1610 for 1,000 finance regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit expires 3/2/26.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Overcast tonight with a chance for snow. Lows around 1 above. Northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 29. Tomorrow, a blend of clouds and sun. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 10 above. A mix of clouds and sun Saturday with highs around 39. 37 Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 8 degrees above zero.
No one has more to choose from at a better price than Mr. Liquor in Rapid City. This month's specials include $5 off all flavors of Kahlua 750s, now $24.99. Save $5 off Traveler Whiskey from Chris Stapleton, now only $29.99. Or pick up Jameson Original and Orange 750s, now just $26.49. Price is good at both Mr. Liquor stores, off Catron next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome in South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports Rapid City, and also on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Busy tonight. What are we doing here? It's a Sioux Falls live episode? What's going on? Matt Zimmer's coming up on the college sports side. And we got Trent Singer right away. They're both at Sioux Falls Live. These guys did not arrange this. I don't know who did it. We got them, though. I like it, okay? The Nate Brown Show live, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Trent Singer is in. Covers high school sports. Has a great piece there on Sioux Falls Lincoln. The Lincoln boys remain unbeatable right now. It's dicey, though, some tight ones. And you can find his work at SiouxFallsLive.com. Covers Augie hockey as well. Trent, welcome in, man. How are you?
Doing good, Nate. Over here in the east side of the state, it's a little chilly out now, but yeah, you know, it's a winter sports season, and I'm staying plenty busy with all this basketball and hockey going on right now. That's for sure.
I know that. So I'm going to go to the basketball stuff first. Sioux Falls Lincoln beat Roosevelt. Tight game. Sioux Falls Lincoln's the team that's favored. They were last year, Trent, if you remember. They were favored. They got knocked off at state. Where do you think this team is at compared to last year? I mean, they're favored again, but they've had some tests.
Yeah, you know, favored last year was an interesting word for them because, I would say I really liked Brandon Valley going into that tournament. Obviously, they went on to win it. Mitchell last year, too. Same situation, and they're the ones who beat them in the semifinals. I liked that Mitchell team last year, but this is a different Sioux Falls Lincoln team. When you talk about everybody that they've brought back, you look at Brody Schaefer. I mean, obviously we know what he does on the football field, but he's just been a tremendous point guard for this team. A leader, leads them in assists, and then the Sams, the Sam Erickson and Sam DeGrue, who are both going to be heading off to Augustana next year. You know, just two seniors who have really carried this team a long way this season, and I just love the team element that they play. They play a really, you know, they share the basketball really well, and I think they're on just a different level this season when it comes to that. And then defensively, I think what they did the other night against Sioux Falls Roosevelt, it was pretty impressive. They're number one in the state in scoring defense, number one scoring offense in the state, and those two metrics together, there's a reason that they're 17-0. But you know, that being said, it's an interesting field, right? I still think AA is anybody's game. They played a couple close games here in the second half of the season. When you look at what they the 2-point win that they had over T Area, and then a 2-point win that they had over O'Gorman, and then I think that, you know, this could be a really interesting tournament. No game's going to be easy out there in Rapid City in March, and you know, I think Sioux Falls Lincoln's certainly the favorite going into it, but you know, there's some teams there that can certainly make some noise, and you know, if they can put together a run in three days of winning basketball, anything can happen. So I think you guys are going to get a pretty fun tournament out there in March.
Sioux Falls Lincoln boys unbeaten, number one in AA. Trent Singer on tonight. Okay, I'm going to break this down. Who wins, Sioux Falls Lincoln or Sioux Falls Christian? Rapid fire.
Oh man, that's a fun one. I'll tell you what, I really do. I really do think that Sioux Falls Lincoln would have the upper hand in that game. But that Sioux Falls Christian team is fascinating. I think they've got one of the best players in the state, in Brant Wassner, a 6'5" combo guard who's got plenty of D1 offers. There's a highlight reel dunk he had the other night against St. Thomas More, and I mean the kid's just electric. I think he scored 42 points the other night against Yankton. He's really good, and it's not just him. I mean they've got a lot of guys on that team that can shoot the ball. We talked so much about Griffin Goodberry last year. Well, his younger brother Cooper is a solid player too, and I believe he's headed off to play at Northern State. That would be a really fun game, but I think I'd still give it to Sioux Falls Lincoln just based on the depth. And I think another thing too with what Sioux Falls Lincoln's done, they've just been a tremendous defensive team all season. And I think that given that matchup, it's all hypothetical. We won't get to see that one this year, but given that matchup head to head, I think I'd give it to Sioux Falls Lincoln just slightly. You're not taking anything away from Sioux Falls Christian too. There's a West Central team over here too that's doing a heck of a job this season.
That's the next one. Sioux Falls Lincoln or West Central. Speaking of defense, Hollenbeck's defense at West Central, he's got a 6'10" kid in the middle. Lincoln or West Central?
It's really fascinating to watch what Dave Hollenbeck's done with this team. I went and covered that game earlier this season when they played Sioux Falls Christian, and obviously West Central won that game in the regular season, and I thought it was a huge win, and it was so fascinating to see because you could tell an old time coach when you meet him. He was too focused on how the team needed to get better and how they still needed to work, and I think that they've continued to ride that wave. They ran into an injury with their star guard Connor Mebius there in January, and he's gotten back into the lineup since then, and they've kind of gotten back to doing what they've been doing. Will Call is their swing four that they use. He's been tremendous for them this season too, and they're gonna that could be a championship game that we see at the Class A level. But I think right now I still like what I saw from West Central. I think everything that they're everything that they've got going with Dave Hollenbeck, and then even these sophomores and juniors who have now risen up and are a year older. That's a fascinating team. I liked them at the state tournament last year, and I really do kind of think that this could be a year for them.
Class A boys is also in Rapid City this year. AA boys and A boys and AA girls all out in Rapid City state tournaments just a few weeks away. Trent Singer on tonight, covers high school hoops for SiouxFallsLive.com. I want to go to this football topic and just get your read, Trent. So there was a special board meeting today. They were just taking care of some stuff that they didn't get done prior. One of the headlines, though, that came out, 2 more teams dropped down in football from 11A. One team's going to go to the All-Nations, Dakota Tech. One team, because of numbers, they're going to go all the way from 11A to 9-man. They're not going to play in the playoffs. That's Sisseton. So I'm just looking at these numbers, Trent. I'm looking at the class numbers. 9 teams in AAA, 11 teams in AA, and now just 12 in A. It just seems like not enough. Meaning not enough teams in each class. Do you think we'll ever get any changes to South Dakota football classification in the next 2 years?
Well, I would hope so. I'm probably in the same boat as you and maybe many others. I just think there's too many classes in the state personally. And that's just in my opinion. I know there's people out there that like this setup, and then maybe that's the problem, right? Nobody can really agree on anything. I think the main thing to look at would be looking at what 11A through 11 AAA. How can you make this? Is there a way to condense this down into 2 classes? I think that would be maybe the best place to start, in my opinion. I mean, you got to consider, O'Gorman plays up, right? They would be the smallest 11 AA school. They play up, and that's their choice, And I think, on top of that, you look at 11B. It's starting to get even watered down itself. Yes. I think there's only 20 teams now in 11B. I know a couple 11B teams moved down to 9AA. One of those was Baltic, and I think enrollment also played a part in that as well. Enrollment's I think a good basis for classification. I think beyond that, though, I like the idea that they want to incorporate a committee that would maybe allow for special situations. I mean, we've talked about Douglas, we've talked about some other schools in the state have just encountered different problems, right? And I think that's an area that you could look at it being maybe a little bit more of an open-ended thing where enrollment isn't just, you're not basing everything strictly on enrollment, right? And when I'm reading some of Dan Swartzhaus's comments from this BOD meeting too, it is a little encouraging because I would say that, I think they've identified the problem. I think they know that there's a classification, sort of quandary that they're in here, but I think at the same time, like, something needs to actually be done, and as we know in this state, it's hard to get things done. At least in classification, when you talk about the SDHSAA, it's hard to get everybody to agree, come to a consensus on things.
Here's the thing: I can't quite figure out. I don't know if it's the media, me, you, other fans. I hear fans a lot on this show. They say, too many classes, man, we have too many classes. So I get that one. But then I know there's a chunk of folks that think, well, no, why would we stop kids from having opportunities to make it to the Dome? Why do you want to eliminate classes? Then that's just going to eliminate chances to reach the success. And so there is a chunk of that. I'm wondering which side the school folks fall on.
Yeah, well, and that's obviously, I think where this all starts. It is interesting too because I think in South Dakota it's a different state. Like you have these much more rural areas, and then you have these areas, metro areas, right? You have the Rapid City area, you have the Sioux Falls area, you've even got some of the towns, Watertown. You've got the suburbs here, and right outside Sioux Falls. T area is going to be moving up quicker than we can probably count. I mean. It's an interesting spot for the state to be in, and I think the school's perspective is certainly one to look at. And this is something that we've at Sioux Falls Live talked about maybe exploring over the summer, trying to figure out some of the middle ground and how some of these things work from school, even from an administrative perspective from these schools. So, I think, and then you're talking about too, like the enrollment sizes between some of these schools are so disparate, right? Rapid City Central having the highest, you got Harrisburg up there too. And then you've got Aberdeen Central is the biggest in 11 AA.
Yeah, by far.
I think they're at Yeah, by a lot, right? And then O'Gorman would be actually an 11 AA team if you were to fit them into that mold. They'd be the smallest. And so it's an interesting thing. And then obviously with private schools, I think that's something I've always taken away from other states too and how they run it, right? A private school is always going to sort of play up. And maybe that's the way to go to sort of find areas where you're balancing it out. I just think it's crazy that you have 9 schools in 11 AAA. So then you have one team that's left out of a state tournament where it starts in the quarterfinal round.
Right.
It just seems watered down to me. And then maybe it's from my perspective of other states that I've covered, it's just something to consider that the fact that South Dakota is laid out differently than maybe the way other states operate. 9 teams in AAA, and those are the big schools. But think about that: you go down 2 classes, and we just have 12 teams now. Just 12 teams in one of the smaller classes. So you mean in medium-sized schools, we should have more than 12 teams on 11A, but that's where we're at from the board meeting today. Trent Singer is on tonight. Find him at SiouxFallsLive.com. He's on X at Trent Singer. Does a great job covering hoops. He'll be on it, and Augie Hockey as well as they keep rolling. Trent, I appreciate you, man. Thanks a lot. Hey, you bet, Nate. Happy to come on, man.
Thanks a lot. Trent Singer on The Nate Brown Show tonight. He's with SiouxFallsLive.com. Covers high school sports and Augie Hockey. He's on X. Follow him if you're not, at Trent Singer. A good follow. He's there. So that he said, hey, we got to find a way to maybe combine some of these classes. When I look at them, I've got them on paper here. I've done this exercise over the years where I'm like, here's the class I would do, and here's this class, and here's that class. And we've broken that down based on the enrollment numbers and who could compete with who. And so really, you got to find the happy medium to combine 11A and B. You got to be able to combine some of them, 11A and B, and there's got to be some AA teams that also play with the big dogs. So where this all got going was when the ESD broke off, they created their own AA class. Then Aberdeen wanted to join, and Watertown wanted to join. And now you've got other teams that can't even come close to competing in AA. Then you've got teams now that are falling out of B down to 9-man. You got less and less teams now playing even 11-man football. We still have 4 classes, and we haven't changed it. So, question of the day tonight. I think you're going to have a success factor model because that's going to allow you to move teams around. I don't think, guys, I think we're going to hit our head against the wall. I do not think you're going to get enough schools to vote to change and eliminate classes. That's just how I feel. I do not think, because you're going to get a lot of these school administrators say, well, I'm not going to take my team and put more teams in my way to get to the Dome. I'm not going to eliminate opportunities for my kids. I just know that. I mean, I've heard that. I just got some replies on the show today about that. I said, why do you want to cut down opportunities for kids? That's really not the point. The point is to make it more competitive for everybody and find the right class for everybody. So you got to have a success factor model. They've got the committee working on it. They got to produce something. We have to have something there because you're not going to have schools vote to eliminate classes. That ballgame is over. They're not going to do it. So Matt Zimmer is on tonight. He is with Sioux Falls Live as well, but we're going to go the college sports route. There's a lot to discuss, including a little headline, new one, with Sacramento State. Remember they said a couple of years ago they raised all this money? They said they had $50 million in commitments for NIL. Well, I guess they did, but now they don't. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Show your home to acclaimed replacement windows and an ensemble entry door. Get 20% off windows and doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight, Thursday edition. College to the pros. Well, we got all the all-timers here. Trent Zimmer was in talking high school sports from Sioux Falls Live. Now we'll go the college route. He covers the Jacks, the Yotes, and more. Matt Zimmer, he is on Sioux Falls Live. Did Sioux Falls Live call in and make all these? I put it all together. I mean, come on. College sports writer Matt Zimmer is on SiouxFallsLive.com. Find him at Matt J. Zimmer on X. Matt, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
Doing good, man. Appreciate the time. A lot of FBS, FCS talk, and more today. So here's a headline I just want your reaction to. This came from Front Office Sports today. Remember a couple of years ago, Sacramento State said, hey, we got all this NIL money committed. I mean, we got pledges, $50 million. I remember I was coming into the show. I'm like, huh? Sacramento State, $50 million committed. That was if they got into the Pac-12. So this was just reported. Now that $50 million will not be committed for the MAC. So what do you think of that scenario, and where do you think Sacramento State's really at money-wise?
I couldn't be the least bit surprised by it. I feel like almost everything that their president has claimed has been dubious at best. There hasn't been any evidence of it, you know. He's just kind of been throwing things out into the ether and kind of trying to talk them into existence. And that's kind of why I think everyone has looked sideways at this deal. It's like you're going to spend $23 million or whatever it is for the entrance fees to get into this league. You're going to pay the other team's travel costs, and then you're still going to somehow have money left over to pay your coaching staff's FBS commensurate salaries, to have NIL money for your players, to either renovate their, frankly, kind of crappy stadium or build this new one at this racetrack or whatever it is somewhere in Sacramento. I mean, it's just been a bunch of false promises and dubious claims, and I think that's been obvious to anyone who's been paying attention to what's been coming out of there for the last year. So I'm not the least bit surprised, and you know that's why I think it was a really irresponsible move on their part, and I'm not convinced that it isn't going to end in disaster for him.
Yeah, interesting. So Ross Dellinger, he's been reporting on this, national college football writer. Ross Dellinger was on a show in Sacramento. Now, this was a show in Sacramento, but he said, I think they can hold their own in the MAC. He goes, by what I know from their revenue share and what they're going to do for NIL, he thinks they can hold their own in the MAC. And you say?
I hope so. And you know, from a football competitive standpoint, maybe the MAC isn't that good of a league. And you know, Sacramento State was 7-5 this year. They were a playoff team a couple times recently. You know, Brennan Marion came in and brought some good players in there in his 1 year, and then bounced because he saw the writing on the wall. You know, I don't know if they. I'm not necessarily worried that they're going to go 0-12 this year. You know, that's not what to me is scary about it. It's the possibility that it could ruin their athletic department, that they could bankrupt the college, that it could cause serious harm to their other sports on campus, that it could cause serious harm to the general student body, to the university as a whole. I just, you know, these numbers that they've been throwing out, this deal is worth $975 million in broadcast. Like, what the hell is that? Like, what is even that number? It doesn't make any sense. Nobody believes it. And then, you know, we have all this NIL money. Well, clearly, no, you don't. We're going to build a new stadium. Prove it. I don't, you know, there's nothing actually in the works other than just talking about it. And
do I have you?
Who cares about Sacramento State who's part of it?
Okay, Matt Zimmer on tonight, SiouxFallsLive.com, college sports writer. One more on this. Let's go to the NDSU route. AD Matt Larson told Brandon Marcello, another national reporter today, that 2032 is the year. That's when the TV contracts come up. He said, will there be a new subdivision? Are we going to have a break-off? We've had a 6-year head start. What does that mean?
He's absolutely right, and I think that's why they did this. And I think it's why people at SDSU or Montana State, University of South Dakota, University of North Dakota are a little nervous about this. You know, none of them have this opportunity. None of them are as ready as the Bison were. And let's face it, the Bison have been in a class by themselves since moving up to FCS. They wanted to do this. They were ready for it. And it is going to give them a head start. You know, I think I read the same article that you're referring to, and he made reference in that article to, you know, we might end up playing some of the elite schools in FCS again. I think that's a pretty obvious, you know, sort of acknowledgement that everyone sort of expects the top-level FCS schools, whether it's the Jackrabbits and Coyotes, the Montana schools, whoever, to eventually move up. But if North Dakota State can, you know, get in there 6 years in advance and maybe get to the college football playoff before that, certainly that's very beneficial to them. And I also think it's really interesting that he's kind of, you know, putting an actual timeline on this, because we've been hearing, I know you've had guests on your show, I've talked to people who've been alluding to this supposed split for years, right? We keep hearing, well, there's going to be a split, but there hasn't been any real, you know, like, well, when is this actually going to happen? If he thinks that 2032 is when the, you know what, is really going to hit the fan and then things are going to start moving, that's interesting, and it'll be further interesting to see what happens in the aftermath of that split if it does indeed happen.
Tell me about my question of the day, your answer. My question of the day yesterday was, will North Dakota State win more recruiting battles now over South Dakota State? I'm not talking about South Dakota kids, but some of these guys in this region. Will NDSU win more battles in the Mountain West?
It's really hard to say. I mean, because I think it's kind of funny that for the last however many years, North Dakota State has been sort of bragging about how they can out-recruit Mountain West's group of 6 schools because kids want to come to NDSU and play for a national championship. Now they move up to FBS, and all of a sudden they start telling the media, well, you know, we needed to do this because we kept losing recruits to FBS schools. Which is it? I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think there are certainly going to be kids that SDSU and NDSU are both going after that are going to say, the Bison are at a higher level, they play in cooler stadiums, they play in a better conference, they're offering more NIL money, I'm going there. But I think there's still going to be kids that are going to go, well, why do I want to go play in the Meineke Car Care Bowl when I can play for national championships at South Dakota State? So we'll see what happens. I think there's going to be a little bit of both.
So you believe in that selling point that SDSU has, come here, we're playing for a championship?
I mean, I've seen them do it over the last few years. They've won several recruiting battles over a group of 6 schools. I mean, they're not going to beat a Big Ten school. You know, they're not going to convince Ed Whiting to come to South Dakota State over Michigan State. But they've won battles with Wyoming and Toledo and some of these other. They did actually win a couple battles with some Power 4 schools for individual kids. So every kid's different. You know, there's certain kids that they just want the most NIL money. There's other kids that just want the most playing time. And then there's kids that want to play for a championship. So again, I think there will be different kids that choose different things.
Matt Zimmer on tonight. Couple more. I'll let him run. He's at SiouxFallsLive.com. Covers the Jacks and Yotes. So some coaching changes. And here's some that I know. The salary was huge. Travis Johansson. I mean, his salary from USD to Rutgers DC now is just unreal. He's in the million range. So I get that one. Then Bobby Hauck, he says, I'm retiring at Montana. Well, no, he goes to Illinois, Big Ten, defensive coordinator. Here's one. Head coach, Northern Illinois, Thomas Hammock. He leaves as head coach of a Mountain West program to be a running backs coach for the Seahawks. So people are looking at this going, is this the thing where some guys don't want to be head coaches anymore? Like leaving an FBS program to be a position coach in the NFL seems a lot easier to just coach 5 guys. Is that the deal?
I don't think so necessarily. I mean, Thomas Hammock was not successful at Northern Illinois. You know, he had a losing record. So I think that's kind of a looking for a parachute before he got fired. Bobby Hauck is old, you know, and he said he was getting tired of the new college football landscape, the NIL, all that stuff. And we're seeing a lot of that. Why do you think Nick Saban left? There's all sorts of guys that are like, hey, I don't like this new way of doing things, this new world. And it is kind of a young man's game. So you see a lot of guys getting out of it. And to Bobby Houck's credit, when he, quote unquote, retired, he did say that day, yeah, I might be interested in coaching again. I just don't ever want to be a head coach again. That makes sense for someone like him. I think it might be different. I think Travis Johansson's going to want to be a head coach again someday. It's just that's another thing that makes it harder and harder to justify staying at FCS is look what the money is. I mean, just 10 years ago, FCS schools could maybe try and get an FBS coordinator to come be their head coach. That's never going to happen now because FCS head coaches are making, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. And like you said, coordinators in the Big Ten are getting well over $1 million. I mean, Travis Johansson, increased his salary by 5-fold. And, it's going to be pretty tough if Michigan calls Dan Jackson in a couple of years and wants him to come be the DC for $1.7 million a year. It's going to be tough to turn down.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Some of those make sense. It's interesting. I had Paul Sather on last night. You just at UND, he got a contract extension. He's done a nice job there. SDSU men just lost to NDSU. You covered that one last night. I'm just kind of thinking about how hard do you think it is being a coach at this level in basketball, in football, a head coach in this era?
It's much harder in basketball because at least in football, these guys do have the national championship to recruit to. They have the opportunity to go to the NFL to offer. Summit League schools are not sending guys to the NBA. They're not competing for national championships, and now they're not even really competing for can we win games in the tournament? Can we make a run? I mean, the way the transfer portal and NIL has devastated mid-major basketball. I mean, the Summit League just doesn't have. If anyone's good, they leave. And so now the Summit League champion every year is probably going to be a 14 or a 15 or a 16 seed, and you're basically just a minor league for the power leagues. And I mean, you see it. The excitement around these programs isn't what it used to be. The attendance in most places is down. Jack's attendance is good, but I think that's just because they have a new arena. There's still some of that residual paying off for them. When that wears off, how is that going to work out for them? I hate to be critical of a league that I cover for a living, but I just mean you can really tell that what the portal and NIL have done to Summit League basketball and probably all the mid-major leagues has really taken a toll on fan interest, on the caliber of basketball, and I can only imagine how hard it is for these coaches because basically you're starting from scratch almost every single season.
Yeah, not just the Summit League. I talked to Sundance Wicks at Wyoming. He has to get new players every single year and compete with the big boys. Can't do it. Tough to do. Matt Zimmer tonight. Find his work at SiouxFallsLive.com. These guys do a great job as always. Matt, thanks a lot.
You bet, Nate. See ya.
Appreciate it. Matt Zimmer tonight, SiouxFallsLive.com, college sports writer here on the Nate Brown Show. Good stuff from Zim. Let's go to an old friend, Argus leader, Hall of Famer. No, not quite. Close. He was with the Argus leader. Now he made his way to the Indianapolis Star. He covers high school sports in Indiana. Is there a girls' basketball shortage of players? The numbers are down in South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Montana. Are they down in Indiana? One of the number one places for high school hoops. Brian Haenchen is live next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. your Auto Value Parts store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
Finding the right gear starts with finding the right people. At Trav's Outfitter, we take the time to get to know you, to understand the work you do, and help you find the gear that fits that work. We're here to earn your trust one visit at a time. Because when you work hard, where you shop should work just as hard for you. Visit us in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Overcast tonight with a chance for snow. Lows around 1 above, northerly winds around 5 miles per hour. Daytime highs approaching 29. Tomorrow, a blend of clouds and sun. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 10 above. A mix of clouds and sun Saturday with highs around 39. 37 Sunday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, it's 8 degrees above zero.
Buying a pre-owned vehicle is a big decision, and where you buy it matters. That's why at Spearfish Motors, we don't shop car auctions. We keep it local. Our pre-owned vehicles come from trades with people right here in our communities, so you know what you're driving and where it came from. That's locally sourced, the Spearfish way. See us today at Spearfish GMC Cadillac, or shop a great selection of clean and inspected local trades at SpearfishMotors.com.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show, live tonight on Fox Sports Radio. Thanks for making the show possible. Thanks for checking in. Hope you've had a great day, a great week. Good stuff tonight. We had Matt Zimmer just on at Sioux Falls Live, college sports writer for Sioux Falls Live. Would Matt Zimmer be a Argus leader, Hall of Famer? How about this guy, Brian Haenchen? Would he be a... He's a Hall of Famer in my book. Former writer at the Argus Leader. He is on to the IndyStar. Covers high school sports in Indianapolis for the IndyStar. It is Brian Haenchen. He's a Nate Brown Show Hall of Famer. Brian, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you hopping in. I want to talk some high school hoops and more. So everybody says this, Brian. Indiana is the place, right? The Mecca for high school basketball. Hoosiers, I mean, the whole thing. So you cover a ton of high school girls basketball, and you guys are doing your shows and you a lot of coverage out there. So here's the deal in South Dakota. 2 weeks ago, we had a board basketball meeting, and they talked about, we got to discuss this. There's a problem in girls' high school basketball numbers. It's been going down and down and down. We have to discuss it. We have to address it. So in South Dakota, it's a big concern. Wyoming numbers are down. Nebraska. And we're seeing this across the region. Iowa. You tell me what you say. Maybe it's anecdotal or not. Is Indiana high school girls basketball as big as it always has been?
No, it hasn't, and it's not anecdotal. It seems to be a nationwide thing. In fact, there was a story, I think the Associated Press did it here recently, and it's something that I'm planning to start diving into and researching here a bit in the coming weeks. But the numbers in Indiana actually have been on a steady downward trend. And within South Dakota, right before I moved out here, I remember Jamie Parrish and I having a conversation and him sending me some presentations and some data that he'd compiled just showing some of the issues that we're starting to form and the trends that we're starting to form with girls' high school basketball participation numbers going down. But no, it seems to be kind of a nationwide thing, and I'm sure we'll get into it here in a bit, but I think it's for a variety of reasons. But it is fascinating to see because, yeah, I mean, it's even hitting here in Indiana, which is obviously widely regarded kind of as a mecca of girls' high school basketball.
Okay,
and basketball in general.
So one of the big things that was mentioned at the basketball meeting, it was on the record. It said, we can't beat around this anymore. We got to say it. Club volleyball is what's causing the problem for high school girls basketball because club volleyball teams hold their tryouts, they're getting the players, and then the kids have to decide, am I going to go with club volleyball? That's kind of a thing, or am I going to just kind of be a role player on basketball and stick with it? That's what was mentioned here. How much of a factor is it, club volleyball?
Oh, it's massive, and I would throw club soccer in there too, and that soccer may not be as big of an issue out there, but out here that's a big thing too. And what's tough is that, like, the club volleyball things, it's like they kind of force the kids to choose. I've heard that a lot, is that they're forcing the kids, like, hey, if you really want to play for our best team, you gotta pick one or the other, you know. And it's not just the role players, man. Like, there's some really darn good players out there that are opting out of basketball to focus on volleyball, to focus on soccer, to focus on these other sports. So it's kind of, this is an ongoing trend. This is nothing new, the specialization within high school sports, but it's certainly starting to hit some more of the major sports like a basketball. But yeah, no, that's a major issue.
Do you think the physicality, people say rough, physical, strenuous, that's why girls are going to volleyball instead of basketball? Is that a factor?
Not really. I mean, maybe anecdotally, but not really. I mean, I think it's just preference thing probably. I mean, basketball's not a super violent sport. Sure, there's some rough and tumbleness, but I think that kind of varies by team, honestly.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. This is a big number. I just saw the sports specialization study at UCLA. So UCLA put this out. They said NCAA Division I athletes played 2 sports at least growing up. 88% of them say that. 88% played 2 sports as kids, and they became Division I athletes. Is that, I'm like, I don't know if that's possible or not. Maybe Division I athletes are just a special breed. You know what I'm saying? If you're a D1 athlete, you're an athlete. And so I think these studies sometimes sugarcoat like, oh, no, you can play 2 to 3 sports and still be a star at UCLA. I don't know if I'm buying that.
Yes and no. I think that it's important to play multiple sports in high school. I think there's a lot of benefits to it, honestly. I mean, just first of all, mentally, it prevents from burnout. You hear that a lot too with kids, where it's like they get to a certain point and they just get sick of it because they play year round. Basketball, volleyball, soccer, all these sports are year-round adventures. So to get a break, to do something different, I think that's great. Like, it's so beneficial for kids' mental health.
I am with you on it.
Else.
I am with you on it. I want kids to play multiple sports, but I do think our culture is not leaning into that.
Correct. I think that there's a push to make it more relevant, but I agree. Like, because if you're those clubs, man, it's a money thing. Like, it's a money game, right? Like, they're a business. They're trying to make money. So obviously they're going to say, no, don't play basketball. Come play volleyball. Come spend more money with us. Come pay to go to these tournaments. Come pay to get recruited or whatever other things that they sell them. And whether or not that's valid and how much validity there is to those arguments, how much credence or whatever should be paid to those is probably another discussion. But yeah, I mean, obviously they have a vested interest, those clubs do, to get kids to specialize, because the more that they specialize, the more they're going to spend on training, the more they're going to spend on those club teams and things like that.
Brian Haenchen on tonight. He's a prep sports writer for the IndyStar, Indianapolis. He's on X at Brian_Haenchen. You know him, Sioux Falls Argus leader, sports writer, did a great job in South Dakota. By the way, I got a listener text coming in. They want to know if girls flag football is taking off in Indiana. Girls flag football.
It is, actually. It's listed as a emerging sport out here, which means it's on the cusp of being a state-sanctioned sport, which is pretty cool. And the participation numbers this year in year one are off the charts, so that's a cool thing that they're offering.
Okay, so that's interesting. Girls high school flag football starting to get going. Now, I'm going to look into this. Is there an answer to get more girls playing basketball? I don't know the exact answer. I've been talking about this for a year. What's the answer to keep high school girls basketball numbers going the other way?
I honestly have no idea because, like I said, like those clubs, the club sports, which I think is kind of the main culprit here, that's a separate entity from the high schools. It's not like something magical that the high schools can do. I don't know. Maybe things change here because I think NIL for high schoolers is on the horizon. Maybe that changes a little bit on the top end, but that's probably not going to help participation numbers overall. I'm honestly not sure because I've been thinking about that too, and kind of as we dive into this project, thinking about what are the solutions, what's kind of the end game here to fix this, and there's no easy or clear answer in my opinion. So it'll be interesting, but it certainly is a trend.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I wanted to get you on and say, hey, where are the numbers at in Indiana? Because that's the home for high school basketball, and what a passionate state it is for hoops and girls' high school basketball numbers going down across the board.
Maybe something too, Nate. Maybe it's something that just naturally kind of balances out over time. Because right now, volleyball is one of the fastest growing sports in the country.
Yeah.
So maybe that factors in, So I don't know. Maybe natural selection or the natural ups and downs, ebbs and flows kind of takes care of it.
Last one for Brian Haenchen. Okay, this is a South Dakota sports question for you, okay?
Sure. Here
we go. Since you left South Dakota, the football classes have stayed the same. Okay, so I just want you to know that. Now answer my question of the day. Will we see any change in South Dakota high school football classification in the after this 2-year cycle? Will we see it?
Brother, we're going to be dead for a couple decades before any of those people move. That thing moves at slower than a glacial pace.
Oh my gosh, thanks for that positive spin.
No, I'm kidding. I think I haven't paid attention, obviously, to the population trends, but based on where things were when I left, and with just the way that the rural communities, the populations in those smaller towns were starting to dwindle, it certainly still feels inevitable. Maybe not in 2 years, maybe it's 5 years, a decade, but it still feels like change is inevitable, and they're going to have to do some moving around just based on what I remember and what I knew and from studying it. And covering it, reporting on it, what was that, 5-6 years ago at this point?
Yeah, well, you're kind of getting us there, but my audience says 84% of them say it will stay the same. 84% of us here in South Dakota say we will just keep things the same. And that's not a surprise, I don't think, to Brian Haenchen. He's now at the IndyStar, covers high school sports out there, and we still follow you, man. I know you're right in the middle of it. Thanks for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, buddy. I'll talk to you again later.
See ya. Brian Haenchen, prep sports writer for the Indianapolis Star, IndyStar.com, live from Indianapolis. He said same story. So it's not just a South Dakota thing. It's not just a small town thing. It's not just an Iowa, Nebraska. I mean, it's not just a region thing. Indiana high school girls basketball participation falling off a cliff as well. Now, that's interesting. Hey, I want that question of the day answer if you've got it. 605-720-1067. After all the discussion about football classification, setting up a success factor committee, all of that, school appeals, they want to move down, teams want to move up. Will we make any changes to the football classification model in South Dakota? Do you believe we're on the horizon of seeing some change in football classes in South Dakota? 84% of you say no. Anybody say yes? Anybody? 605-720-1067. Anybody believe in change of the success factor coming? You know who's coming in? Rob Keighron. He's back. Thursday happy hour. A lot to discuss coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. the #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Show your home some love with an upgrade to Acclaim replacement windows and an ensemble entry door. Get 20% off windows and doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RVARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
And of course, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales. One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. It's always a great day in South Dakota. Say it with me. Hope you've had a great week. Thursday edition of the program means Rob Keighron's back in and ready. Live in studio, Rob Keighron joining us. It's Thursday Happy Hour on South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. We're powered by Trav's Outfitter, your home for work boots. The best selection, the best service, no BS at Trav's Outfitter. You don't leave wondering if you made the wrong choice. You're on your feet all day, you want the right boots. I'm telling you, your headquarters for work boots. This is the place. Trav's Outfitter, new store, Campbell Street, Rapid City, and online. Check out their selection, Trav'sOutfitter.com. Family-owned, South Dakota independent retailer. It's not about a quick sale. They want to get it done right. Trust Trav's Outfitter when it comes to work boots if you're on your feet all day. Trav'sOutfitter.com and new store on Campbell Street in Rapid City. A lot to discuss tonight. If you missed the first hour, good guests across the board. Go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. If you're in the second hour, remember the text line always open, 605-720-1067. The Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. If you want to join the conversation. So, Rob, you're back. You took a little trip. You're back. And I have a little discussion here. We're getting close to March Madness. And so I've got some things happening. Teams are beating teams, and then you have the court storming going on. So the last 24 hours, we've seen Iowa beat Nebraska, and then they court stormed. And then somebody got in Fred Hoiberg's face with his phone and said, "Good game, buddy." And then Fred swiped it. He hit the phone away. Could have got a little ugly. A couple of weeks ago, John Shire and Duke got beat by North Carolina. John Shire said he saw a staff member get punched by a UNC student that came onto the floor. Can anything be done with court storming? Should anything be done? I really want to know, because I want to see if you have class or no class tonight.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure you're going to figure out where I'm going with this. Should anything, well, can anything be done?
Can anything be done?
Probably something can be done.
Really?
Should anything be done? Absolutely not.
Oh, come on.
I mean,
come on.
Nate, this is college. You and I both went to college, right? What are we trying to do? They have tremendous amount of energy, these kids. They're first of all, here's why I'm against stopping or banning the court storming. These are programs that are winning games that they're not expected to win, and their fans, their kids are actually showing up and supporting the team. You and I watch enough college basketball. We see enough mediocre or even poor programs where they can't even get enough kids in the stands to care about the team or the game. The fact of the matter is, in that game in particular, the Duke-North Carolina one's a little weird.
A little weird?
I don't get that because it's such a strong rivalry, and it's essentially they're so close.
But buzzer beater. I mean, it was a 3-point
I get the buzzer beater. And I watched the game, and it was a good game. But Iowa, Nebraska, this is a rivalry that doesn't always translate to basketball, but I think he got something different this year because of how good Nebraska has been. And I love the energy of the kids in a crowd doing this.
Oh, you love the energy. You love it. You love the moron with his phone going up to him. Good game, buddy.
What's Fred Hoiberg making, huh? Just be quiet, shake the hands, ignore the kid, and walk to the locker room.
He was shaking the hands, and then the moron got in his face.
What does that do, Nate, when you know this better than anyone? When you go and try to knock that kid's phone out of his hand, it only encourages more of them to do this.
By the way,
you're giving him his 15 minutes of fame.
Well, the kid did it. He had his phone on. He wants to be on social media. This is the problem with our culture.
Yeah.
And then you got guys like you on the Nate Brown Show coming on a Thursday saying, it's a beautiful thing.
You're not excited. Like, when you watch the court storming that after a big shot just got had and it was an upset, you don't get excited. It's the same thing in college football when they storm the field.
Yes, I get excited, but I also get a little concerned if John Shire's got a staff member getting punched.
Okay,
and now
John Shire he's a whiner, and he's whined about this for a number of years now. Nate, it was a nationally televised game, Duke and North Carolina. One of his staff members got punched, and there's no video of any of it. Are you kidding me? Now, I'm sure he got bumped into or something.
Thousands of people on the floor.
Someone punched. I mean, somebody would have seen it. Witnesses would have seen it.
You think John Shire's just making it up?
I think he's exaggerating to make a point because he's whined about this before. We've heard him last year was whining about this. His players are in danger.
Okay.
You got to deal with it. My gosh.
I want to ask you. I asked this question yesterday because Hoiberg, they lost the other night. And I asked, was Fred Hoiberg in the wrong? That was my question of the day yesterday. All of my audience said Fred Hoiberg was in the right.
What?
Taking the swipe. Get that phone out of here. Boom. He was in the right because the guy approached him, and he's not going to take it. You think he's in the wrong? You can't react at all?
You can say something, right?
I didn't say anything. He took a swipe of the phone, trying to knock that iPhone out, break it. If he would have knocked it out, I would have stepped on it. I would have stepped on it.
You have two young girls. I have a young girl. You're telling me if somebody gets in their face after one of your basketball games when you're coaching, you probably after you lose again 40-20 or something like that, and they come up to one of your girls with the phone and try to make fun of them. You want your girls to knock the phone out of their hand?
Well,
that's what you're teaching your children? And you want me to be the bad guy?
That's if somebody comes up with a cell phone. I'm the coach. If they come up with me, am I going to take a swipe of the phone?
On a child, essentially.
On a child.
Well, who was this? This was a student, correct?
It was a college student, not a child.
All right, but let's just say not a mature adult, okay? Fred Hoiberg has been coaching a long time. You don't need to... You can... I would not have a huge problem if he said something, like get out of my face or knock it off, but to slap the phone, you're just going down to that level.
I can't believe
this is not defending. This is not self-defense. Knocking a phone out of the guy's hand, you think that is appropriate behavior for a basketball coach at a major Division I program?
Because here's what else I think is appropriate. When you storm the field, if I'm a player down there, I can take you down. You enter the arena, I can knock your lung loose right here, right now. You're in my way. If I'm a football player, I'm taking everybody out. I'm taking everybody down with me as I go to the locker room.
Yeah, are we sure I'm not back in New York and we're doing a show there? Because this doesn't sound like South Dakota nice. I'll tell you that.
Well,
you want football players to tackle
yes, I do.
fans.
Yes, I do. If they're taunting me, not like if they're in my face and they're bumping me, they're
bumping
punching.
is one thing. Bumping is one thing. Hitting is another thing.
Yeah.
Taunting. You are the athlete. Just leave the field and go in the locker room. You can't respond every time somebody taunts you. That's part of fandom.
This is amazing. It really is. So
you're amazing. I cannot believe you're advocating for professionals.
Yes.
Hitting non-professionals.
And I can't believe you're advocating that we can run into the field, into the court, a restricted area.
It's
and you're advocating for it.
It's college. There's a lot of things they can't do that they do. I mean, most of them aren't 21. They're
have you ever
drinking and doing all kinds of other things? You're worried about them storming a court? You think you're going to teach them a lesson somehow?
So St. John's, you were just back in New York. You should have went to the St. John's game. You could have stormed the court if
I did.
Whoever they beat.
They were good when I was there. I mean,
would you?
I'm pretty
storm
old.
The court,
but we were a good team. Yeah, well, there were a few times where we stormed the court. And it was a tight little court in Alumni Hall.
What did you
do? Of course I ran on the court. I didn't try to hit a player, though. It was more in celebration. 99% of the kids who are running on the court or on the field are not looking to do anything to the other team.
99%.
They're just 99%. Yes, I would say 99%.
Now 1% is a problem.
Is a problem. But that's everything in life. So what, we shut it down because 1% are bad eggs? I'm talking to a bad egg right now. He wants to knock phones out of people's hands.
Oh, I do. I really do. If you get in my face, it's over. And I always
I'm going to show up to one of your basketball games.
When my brother played college football and he had a couple of people storm the field, he wanted to give him the forearm shiver. He really did. He really did.
I don't understand this aggression towards other people celebrating their team's win. I get it if they attack you, 100%.
That's number one. That's number one.
Putting a phone in someone's face is not an attack.
Okay,
right? You're a personality. You're in front of cameras all the time. You got to deal with it.
Last one. If this happens in South Dakota, it happened last year in a state championship. It was a big controversy. Basketball. Can we storm the court in South Dakota? They say you cannot. This is a big rule here in South Dakota. So you're trying to go against the rule of South Dakota, and you want storm court. You want it.
It's not that I want it. I accept that it's part of the reality. If we get to the state tournament, and again, this shows my ignorance because I'm not good enough at the teams of who's the big underdog. But if a big underdog wins the championship that shouldn't, because it's probably what you would know better, but a handful of teams that can win the state championship. Yeah. Somebody comes out of nowhere, they go on a great run, they're a Cinderella, and they're the 10th ranked team, and they win the state championship, and they have 400 or 500 fans there, and they run the court. I don't have a problem with that.
By the way,
celebrating excellence, this amazing achievement that they have.
And this was not endorsed. This segment was not endorsed by the South Dakota High School Activities Association.
Don't get me started on them.
Disclaimer. Right back. This was an interesting segment. I found out a lot about Rob Keighron, did we?
I found out a lot about you. You're a meanie. You are one of those mean people.
Yeah. Follow the rules, keep it clean. Let's see what happens. Mark Cuban had some things to say this week. There's a lot to discuss, including the Vikings and what I wonder what they really should do at quarterback. It's all ahead.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. the #1 hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Show your home some love with an upgrade to Acclaim replacement windows and an ensemble entry door. Get 20% off windows and doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
Are there as many kinds of vehicles as there are kinds of people? We think so. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we help all kinds of people come together with all kinds of vehicles. With loans made to fit everyone and every ride.
In Rapid City. With today's home values, right now could be a great time to sell your home. The Black Hills housing market is competitive, and I would love to help you get top dollar for your home. I have been selling real estate and attracting buyers in Rapid City for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. You're thinking of selling your current home? Let me put my expertise to work for you. Just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
Welcome back in South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here tonight. Appreciate you. Rob Keighron's live in studio. Glad to have him. I didn't think we'd go off the rails like that. He's the only guy in South Dakota that's picking on Fred Hoiberg for knocking a phone out of a kid's hands. Knock it out.
It's beneath him.
Wow. Unbelievable. Good start to the show, though. Let's get into this. Mark Cuban this week, I thought said something stupid. I mean, I don't like picking on guys usually, but I thought he said something stupid. Mark Cuban's talking about the NBA, and there's news out on this today, by the way, so I'm going to get to this. Mark Cuban said there is controversy in the NBA right now because you have numerous teams that aren't trying to win. They're trying to get in the lottery. They're trying to turn around their organization. You get one star player, and you're going to turn it around because we've seen it happen. The Spurs, Wembanyama, and the list goes on. So Cuban said, tanking, though, I mean, it's happening, but it's not a big issue. He said they can embrace it. They can do it. People care about the experience at NBA games, the entertainment. He said, ask a fan who won last game. They probably couldn't tell you the score. They understand their team can't win all the time. He said fans aren't worried about winning all the time. They want the experience. I thought that was off. I know there's people that go to games, whether it's minor league hockey, whatever it is. They go, fun night, experience a date, you're going out with friends, whatever it is, and you could care. You don't know the record, you don't know this. I think there's a huge chunk. When you're going to a Mavericks game, let's say Mavericks, that's who we used to own. You're going to an NBA game, that much money, you're all in, season ticket holder even, or even if you go regularly. I think sports fans do care about this.
Of course they care. You go. It is not just an entertaining thing. Certainly, there is an element to it, right? There is an element where you have to cater to the whole family. You have to cater to a wide swath of spectators, fans that don't all have the same priorities. But 18,000 people don't show up at an NBA game because they want to be entertained. That's part of it. They want to see high-level basketball, and if they're a fan of that team, they want to see the team win. Nobody's showing up like, oh, it was entertaining. I don't really care who wins or loses. You don't care about sports if you don't care about who wins or loses.
I'm trying to think, why would we not believe Mark Cuban? He owned the team. He sees the numbers. He knows the strategies. He knows who's coming to the games. He knows how to do it. So why would we not believe him when he said, there's a huge chunk of people that just want to be entertained at Dallas games?
I'm sure there's a good amount of people, and more than when you and I grew up. But that doesn't mean that it's not a problem, right? Cuban could be right that there are a lot of people there that just want to be entertained. What is the entertaining product when you have two Utah Jazz players going into a fourth quarter, they're up 20 points, and they sit the entire fourth quarter?
Right.
Great players. What is that about? Having only suit up 8 Washington Wizards against a Nets team because they won the night before against Detroit and we didn't want to win again the next day. I'm sorry. I get that there are other things part of the game that will be entertaining. That's not what sports is about. There's an integrity issue to the NBA right now, and it's getting worse, not better.
By the way, he should have had this example when he sold the Mavs, and then the move that they made with Luka Doncic. They got rid of Luka. It didn't seem like the fans were too happy about that if they just wanted to come and be entertained. I think they wanted Luka to win games.
They love Luka. He's this incredible talent. You're not making yourself any better by getting rid of him. Now, you want to make a decision for the long term and you're going to say that it's better? Okay, we could disagree. But you're right. The fans of the Dallas Mavericks would have preferred the rest of that season to see Luka Doncic.
Yes. I mean, they were really mad. And by the way, now they're like, well, we got lucked out and they got Cooper Flagg. But again, he's a great player. They want to win. They might eventually start winning again. Cuban thought, nah, you can make it an experience. You can make it entertaining. Now, the NBA is going to change this, though. This just came out this afternoon. NBA, Adam Silver met with the 30 GMs, and they're already coming up with changing the rules for the lottery next year. So this year it's all set. But next year, some ideas. Lottery odds for your team. You can't tank. Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline. So that's one idea. You just freeze it. It's like, hey, if you stink early, okay, great. Well, it's not going to matter after the trade deadline, so you might as well not tank. Another one, no longer allow a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years. No longer allowed. You can't pick in the top 4 in consecutive years. Or flatten the odds for all lottery teams. So it's not higher percentage if you're the worst. And on down the line. He said, you're in the lottery, you all have the same odds. Does that work?
I think they're all worthy to consider, right? I'm not sure that any of them work exactly perfectly, but we have to try something. The other one I had heard about was, what about if you just like you said, you freezed it until after the trade at the trade deadline, but then from the trade deadline to the final game, you actually gave more chances in the lottery for the teams that won more games and didn't make the playoffs.
Okay, so you freeze it, but then if you start winning, you're going to get a little better chance. I'm okay with that.
It enhances it and it gives you a reason to keep playing. And the Cuban thing, Nate, like, he's talking about the fans in the stands. The majority of NBA fans do not go to games regularly. Right. They might go to one a year. I can't tell you the last NBA game I've been to. What about all the fans that are watching the games? They're not seeing all of the stuff that's going on during the commercials that are entertainment for the fans there. They only see the basketball product. I'm willing to try any of the suggestions you just made because it's better than what we're doing now.
One more thing he threw out. So there's all these ideas. So I think they are going to change this. They're going to talk about it at the competition committee, and they said they're going to look to change it by next year. One more is they have this play-in. Remember, into the playoffs now, you have a play-in. So they actually would extend the lottery if you made the play-in. So if you got to the play-in, you're kind of on the bubble. You're not terrible. You're pretty good. So it would give you incentive to be pretty good, and we'd still get in the lottery. I like that. I don't mind that.
I like that, too. I think it's a little rough to give a lottery chance to the 7th-ranked team in the conference. They're not They're not great, but
still.
But I'm all for it because it gives them a reason to keep playing in the second half of the season.
That's almost the Mavericks. You remember they had like the least odds to get Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
And the Mavericks got him because they weren't the worst of the worst last year, and the Mavs just got him. So, interesting deal. Adam Silver met with the GMs today, and they're going to plan to implement some anti-tanking rule changes. I think finally he said, we got to do something. I think it's a smart play because the more people talk about it, you see these teams, they put a player in, they hold them out the rest of the game. Everybody's going to start not watching the games even more. They're going to say it doesn't matter.
And we don't have to go down this rabbit hole, but you've embraced gambling. The NBA and all the leagues have embraced gambling. There is an absolute integrity issue when you hold play. It's one thing to hold them out at the beginning of the game. I'm not for that either. But when you take a guy or two guys out in the fourth quarter and don't let them back in because you want to lose the game, that's nonsense.
By the way, did you watch the All-Star? You had some busy family things going. Did you see the All-Star game Sunday?
So, unfortunately, I did have a bunch of things going on Sunday. The only of the games that I saw was the last one, which was the worst one.
It was the worst one. I watched the whole thing. I thought, I'm going to check this out. Best audience in 15 years. I love the scenario. Mini games. The guys played hard. They had first quarter, second quarter, third, fourth. They played the mini games. This is the model. This is it.
Much better. It's certainly, and I saw the highlights of the first three games, which were all very competitive and really good. And Kawhi was excellent. If you get that kind of effort, and if you set it up for them where they will give you the effort because of something like this, 4 games, at least it's a showcase of all of their talent, and it's not a mockery of basketball.
See, because if you didn't watch it, you're like, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. They had the quarters, but each quarter was a game. U.S. against the world, U.S. against U.S., and the guys played harder because they don't have to stay out there 4 quarters, and by the third quarter, those games are just terrible.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're absolutely terrible. So that's the play. We got a listener text, curious what the opinion is of the All-Star game. I thought it was really, really good. That's the choice moving forward. And it's now the best All-Star game. Pro Bowl's just gone. Major League Baseball All-Star game, it's okay. This one was good. Coming right back on the Nate Brown Show, we got to get into it. What should the Vikings do for a quarterback? Do you get a starting quarterback? It's an easy answer tonight. I've got it. We'll see what Rob says next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Does your home have a crawl space? When cold weather arrives, that can mean cold floors, frozen pipes, and higher energy bills. Protect your family and keep the cold air out this winter with Expert Crawl Space Sealing by Blackburn Basement Systems. Sealing keeps your crawl space clean, protects pipes, and insulates your home so floors are warmer and energy bills are lower. A sealed crawl space means a nicer home. Don't wait. Call Blackburn Basement Systems today.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off for non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
Shop the Black Hills' best selection of used cars, trucks, and SUVs at Danny Emanuel Rapid Chevrolet. Over 350 used vehicles you can buy with no money down and no payments for 90 days with qualified credit. 12 local and national lenders available and all applications accepted. Choose from GMCs, Rams, Fords, imports, and more. Many late model local trades. Plus used Chevys and GM certified pre-owned. Buyers on site paying top dollar for all trades. See us at Danny Emanuel Rapid Chevrolet or DannyEmanuelRapidChevrolet.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
We're talking with Rihanna Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy for another Elevate Performance Health Minute. Rihanna, as we all get older, one of the most common injuries, pains, back pain.
We see it every day.
There's a lot of things that can cause it, right?
Absolutely. There's a multitude of different things that can cause back pain, whether that's strength or something that you tweaked it. So it's really important that we get you looked at and figure out what's actually causing that, because so many things can cause the different types of back pain.
Okay, so what's interesting about it, you could have pain in the back, but then there's also a problem with your back, and now that turns into sciatica.
Yeah, sciatica, it tends to come down through the buttock into the leg, and back pain generally just stays right within the back. You might have something traveling, numbness and tingling, pain shooting down past the knee even, all the way to the foot. We definitely want to get that taken care of sooner than later.
Back pain relief, sciatica relief. Get started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show live on Fox Sports Radio. Thanks for making this show possible. We appreciate you guys. The Nate Brown Show is on. Rob Keighron is in. Thursday happy hour. South Dakota Sports Talk Show powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union. I want you to know being a member at BHFCU has been the right choice for us. Me and my family get a bank that works for you. Great rates across the board. I'm telling you right now, if you have a vehicle loan you're looking at, get it through BHFCU. Very competitive, and become a member. Take advantage of all the benefits at Black Hills Federal Credit Union. 18 locations from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. BHFCU.com. Easy to switch. Saves you a ton of time and a ton of money. BHFCU.com. Take advantage. Great rates. Become a member and get started. All right, here we go, Rob. This is the story, and I hope you're ready, because this is what's going to happen. I've got the prediction. Ready? Here we go. See if I know what I'm talking about. The Cardinals are going to cut Kyler Murray. He's owed $36 million. And then if they keep him on the roster, he's owed another $19 million.
Yep.
So the Cardinals are going to cut Kyler Murray, and the Minnesota Vikings better step in and pick him up. He's going to be available for a minimum. They're going to get him for the minimum. The Cardinals are going to have to pay the money, and the Vikings are back in the ball game. Does that make sense?
No. I mean, it makes sense that they're going to do that, but it doesn't make sense that they're back in the ball game with Kyler Murray.
Huh?
I mean,
have you seen this guy? Have you seen this guy?
Yes.
Look up some of his numbers. Yeah. Look up his numbers, 23, 24. Look up his numbers.
He's had his moments. There's no doubt about it. And there are times where he's electric on the field that it's an interesting play, particularly his dual threat stuff. A couple things. One, he's always hurt, right? He's too small of a guy to play quarterback in the NFL.
Small.
Yes,
small.
Absolutely too small. Actually, three things. One is that. Two, he never wins. It's not like he's winning anything,
He's
right?
on a bad team. I mean, he took the Cardinals, I think, to the playoffs. You may want to look that one up.
Then did they lose in the playoffs? Yes, they did. And then on top of that, he's had a bad reputation. Let's be fair. As a guy who doesn't try that hard. Don't you remember famously when they were trying to sign this extension, they wanted to put a clause in there that he has to
video games.
Yeah.
And I hate to tell you, that guy who ran on the court at Iowa, he plays video games too. So
it's not about playing video games. The NFL quarterback's job starts at 5 o'clock in the morning and it goes to 9 or 10 o'clock at night. For better or worse, it's constantly looking at tape, and the best quarterbacks put those kind of hours in. And I don't think anybody's jumping up and down that Kyler Murray's that. I'll say if they release him, it's worth looking at. I won't disagree with you on that. I've heard other things also that Arizona's looking to get a pick for him. If you do that, that's crazy, because forget giving up the pick. you got to take his contract on. You have to wait for them to release him. You can't take a chance on his contract.
That's going to be the play. I don't think the Cardinals, they're going to try to do what they, hey, we're going to get a pick, we're going to get something. They don't want him there, and so they've already made that known. They kind of messed that up last year, I think, when they didn't bring him back. And so they've said he's done. Now they're on the hook. That's it. They've misplayed it, I think. So now the Vikings are going to get him. The Vikings are back. Make no mistake. Kyler Murray on the Vikings, they're back.
I just don't see it, Nate. I don't see that provides enough level of consistency that you're going to feel that confident going into the season. I think he'll have his moments because he has the talent. I just haven't seen it over extended periods of time. Plus, I haven't seen him healthy enough to do it. So now you're going to have a guy, McCarthy, who gets hurt all the time, and Murray, who gets hurt all the time. And then who's coming in?
Okay, so what would you do? I mean, you've been on record here saying you got to give McCarthy another year. And just have some fun, right? Are Vikings fans going to wear T-shirts to the game and say, I don't care which team wins as long as we have fun? They're going to put those on?
I'm not for having fun. You drafted the guy in the first round.
And he's not going to be good, I don't think.
We don't know.
I don't think so.
The jury's still out on him.
It doesn't seem like it. It seems like the jury has decided with Kevin O'Connell saying, I mean, you saw some NFL reports this week from NFL reporters saying, man, he's not developing. There's some big red flags. They had to change routes. They couldn't throw over the middle. I mean, they're saying there's some problems with JJ.
What does that say about O'Connell, Nate? How is he's the quarterback guru. How is he not getting him up to speed? How is he not progressing him? Isn't that his job?
No, you need players. You know that. You need players. And if he's not up to speed, Kyler Murray's going to be such a big elevation from JJ. It's going to be funny. It is going to be interesting to watch, and the Vikings are going to be back. Kyler Murray's a nice player. Did we all forget he's the number one pick? Did we all forget this?
There are a lot of bad number one picks, let's be fair. He's an average player. Is he better right now than J.J. McCarthy? Sure. Are you winning the Super Bowl with Kyler Murray?
Sure. He can get you in the mix. I mean, this guy's good, athletic. He can sling it. He just needs a better team.
So
the Cardinals.
When do you get the lobotomy? Is it during the show or is it before the show? Kyler Murray is going to win a Super Bowl with the Minnesota Vikings?
He could take him to that level. He can take him to that level. You know that.
Wow. What is in that drink over there?
Think about what we just saw here. Your boy Sam Darnold. I mean, Sammy made it all the way. Super Bowl Sam. And you didn't believe in him, and it's going to be the Kyler Murray show next year. So there's the prediction. Vikings, you got to get Kyler. I've said it early. And then Vikings writer Matthew Collar came on this show Monday and said, you got to go get Kyler Murray. And he said, if we get him, are we kidding? He's the starter. End of story. There's no more J.J. McCarthy. If the Vikings get Murray, that's it.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that part. If you get Kyler, he's going to be given every opportunity to start from week one. I don't disagree with that. But when I look at the NFC North, am I get that excited with the Kyler Murray-led Minnesota Vikings?
Yes.
I don't. Fourth best team still.
Listener text coming in, Kyler Murray is a joke.
Ooh.
That's listener
worse
text.
Than what I say.
Another one is a Vikings hater. Listener text, come back to earth, Nate.
I agree.
Come back to earth.
I agree.
Listener text, Nate, sober up, please.
Ooh.
What are we doing tonight?
I was alluding to that for sure. That something's going on over there.
Listener text, Nate, being a Vikings fan, is more critical for KOC next year than anybody. He's the longest tenured head coach without an NFL playoff win.
I think that's a good point. If you bring in Kyler Murray and you go 7-10, that's not on O'Connell?
Oh, it is. I mean, he's in trouble. That's why he's going to bring in Kyler. He's not going to rely on your boy, JJ, to see if we're going to play tiddlywinks and just have fun another year.
My boy. It's his boy. He drafted him.
Coming right back, we've got one more debate. Is there a college basketball player that's taking himself out of games to save himself for the NBA? We'll wrap it up next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Show your home some love with an upgrade to Acclaim replacement windows and an ensemble entry door. Get 20% off windows and doors with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus, get an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Energy efficient, durable, and custom made for the perfect fit. It's time to show your home some love. Call today or visit RVARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
East River to West River. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in. We got 2 minutes. Let's finish it off on the Nate Brown Show tonight, Thursday edition. Rob Keighron's in studio, Thursday happy hour. Glad you're here on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. So this is a quick hitter. There's a star player for Kansas, the Jayhawks. I've been watching a lot of college basketball. Darren Peterson. He's a nice player. He's been up and down with like an injury. He got sick before a huge game. He didn't play. Last night he's playing, scores a bunch of points, 6 threes, hits shots. He plays 18 minutes. They're up on Oklahoma State. He hits a 3 and he turns around to Bill Self and says like, "All right, I'm good." And he takes himself out. And now everybody's asking, is Darren Peterson injured? He has the hamstring. Is he really injured? Is he load managing as a college player in NBA? He's like a top 3, maybe the number 1 pick. What do you think's going on here?
He's absolutely load managing himself. He's saving himself for the NBA. I mean, he had flu-like symptoms in a game against the number 1 team in the country, Arizona, last week, and he doesn't play, even though he warmed up before the game.
Yeah.
If you're out there warming up, you can get out there and play and be there for your team. You can't make it through the whole game because you're not 100%. I get it. Last night was a joke. He came out with 18 minutes left in the game.
That's what I mean. And is this the new thing now? I mean, I don't know. See, he's got this as like, well, I'm injured, and Bill Self's having to, wonder what's happening. And is this the thing? You can take yourself out?
You shouldn't be able to. And Self has defended him a bunch, but last night he was baffled by the whole thing. He admitted it in the press conference after the game.
Yeah, he said, we wish we could have had him. He could have had a big night. He wasn't aware of what was going on. So that's what the red flag was. There wasn't like lingering injuries that they talked about. Otherwise, hey, if he's banged up, then don't play at all.
You should not play at all. Absolutely. You should be saving yourself for the tournament if you're that hurt.
I look at this and I say, I wonder if this is like NBA load management and now top prospects. I just don't think you can ask a coach to take yourself out.
No, absolutely not. And if I'm Self, I got to worry about how is he gelling with the team the rest of the way, right? I mean, they can't count on him.
Does he do this in the tournament? Kansas is 20-6. They're in a tournament game. Hey, coach, I'm good. I got the NBA draft coming up. Darren Peterson, keep your eye on it. I thought that was wild last night. He pulled himself out after hitting a 3. For Rob Keighron, it's Nate Brown. Thanks for listening. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, the podcast going up now.
It seems like the cost of everything is going up, so it's nice to save a little dough when you can, especially for